So friends, a warm good morning to one and all present over here. Myself Devas is standing in front of you to deliver a speech on one of the most important in India for nowadays, that is GST. But before I start my topic, I would like to ask you a question. That what is the full form of GST? So can you give? Okay. I will tell you and you have to say whether I am correct or incorrect. The full form of GST is General Service Tax. It is correct or incorrect?
Incorrect.
Oh, then it means good night, sweet dream, take care.
No. Good service.
Okay, then it means goods and service tax.
Yeah.
Okay, that means you are all are aware that what is going in our country nowadays. That's quite impressive. Now let's stick to our topic. So GST stands for Goods and Service Tax. It is one of the biggest indirect tax reform, providing a uniform and a simplified way of indirect taxation in India. By its introduction, it has replaced a number of other indirect taxes like VAT, GST, indirect central tax, state tax, service tax, etc. The basic idea for introduction of GST is to converting India into a single market. The introduction of GST will help India to increase its GDP and help India to boost the Indian economy. As a coin has two sides, similarly the introduction of GST has positive impact as well as some negative impact. Let's focus on the positive impact first. GST is a single taxation system that has reduced the number of other indirect taxes. Earlier, that means before the introduction of GST, indirect taxes were charged as central tax, service tax, GST, VAT, etc. But from now, that means after the introduction of GST, a single term, that is a single taxation, would cover all these indirect taxes. The prices of products and service would decrease. So this system would prove beneficial. For the people who are fed of paying huge prices. GST would also help to develop the market in this way that GST would not be charged at every point of sale like the other indirect taxes. So in this way the market would also develop. GST would provide a corruption-free taxation system. There is a large positive impact of GST in the central and state government. According to latest reports, it was found that the introduction of GST in our country will help India to gain $15 billion every year. Reasons: improved exports, enhanced economic growth, reduced burden on the state and the central government, generation of employment. Now friends, let's move to the negative impacts of GST. According to many economists, the introduction of GST could impact the real estate market. This would increase the new home buying price by 8% and could decrease the buyer's market by 12%. GST, led by the government as CGST for state government, CGST for central government, and SGST for the state government, are nothing but a fantasy term representing the older taxes, that is service tax, VAT, GST, in a new way. GST is a confusing term where double tax is charged in the name of a single taxation charge system. There are approximately 140 countries in the world where GST had already been implanted. Some of the popular countries being Australia, Canada, Germany, Japan, and Pakistan. At last, but not the least, I want to conclude my speech by saying that GST is a long-term strategy and the positive impact can be seen in the long run only. Thank you.
Yes. You have to ask the cross question about it. Anyone?
How can you say that by the help of GST we increase our GDP?
Okay. By the introduction of GST, it will help to produce more. That means the manufacturing cost will be less. So it will impact the customers to consume more. So in this way, the producer will produce more and consumer will consume. So in this way, the GDP of our country will impact in a positive way. So in this way, I can say that it will help to increase our GDP.
What is the full form of GDP?
Gross domestic product.
Okay.
Gross domestic product. Sorry.
Gross domestic. Okay.
How can you say types of tax in applied, such as CST, SGST, and IGST. What is the full form that GST?
CGST stand for CGST stand for Central Goods and Service Tax. SGST stand for State Goods and Service Tax, and IGST stand for Integrated Goods and Service Tax.
When place apply this type GST? When place apply?
Where is taken that type of taxes?
Okay. SGST, or I can say these taxes are applied everywhere. These are nothing but the fantasy term representing the older taxes in a new way. So it is quite confusing that GST is charged as double tax in name of a single charge taxation system. So it's a demerit of GST.
There is another demerits in GST.
Yes, I said already in my topic that GST could impact the real estate market also. That the new home buying price will rise by 8% and could decrease the buyer's market by 12%. And it is quite complicated term. The concept of GST is quite complicated and it will take some time for the people to understand it. So these are some demerits of GST, or we can say that these are some shortcomings of GST.
So in your view, GST is good or not in our country?
According to me, from the bottom of my heart, I can say that GST is good. This is because it will help our country to develop. It will help our country to be at the top. This is because by the introduction of GST, the generation of employment will happen. This will help the people to earn their livelihood. GST will increase our exports. GST will reduce the burden of taxation, reduce the burden on state and the central government. So these are some benefits of GST. So from my view, GST is quite good.
Yeah, but when GST is applied, then in market consumer are very tense because by applied GST all how to survive the business.
Means you are basically want to say that through the GST, after the introduction of GST, people face many problems.
Yeah.
Your question, but let me tell you one thing. When the demonetization was happened, then too the people were quite tensed. But what's the result? The result is in our front. That demonetization helped our country to fight with the black money and to hinder the corruption. Similarly, the concept of GST is same. GST will also impact our country in a positive way. It will quite tense that the concept of GST is quite complicated, but it will help our country.
But cause of GST, gold prices increase, and many jewelers say about GST is very bad for jeweler. How can you say that GST is good? To you, GST is good, but after coming GST, many gold men get a strike because gold wages increase 1%, and all people say that any customer came your shop, then you increase 1% already. How can you say that GST is good for gold jewelers?
As we know that the goalkeepers, means the sellers of gold, are on a strike. This is because that the percentage, earlier before the GST, the percentage on the gold is 2%. But after the implementation of GST, it's become 3%.
Yeah, increase 1%.
Yes. So the people who will go to the shop of gold to purchase the gold, they will give more money. That means from 2% they will have now to pay 3%. But when they will get the gold, the goalkeeper has to give them more than 1%. That is, if they want to buy a 10-gram gold, then the goalkeeper have to give them 11-gram gold. So in this way, it becomes maintained. But there is a possibility that when the goalkeeper give them 11-gram gold, the person might not come to his shop again. So it's a demerit. As I said that as a coin has two sides. Similarly, the GST has two sides, positive and negative, and it's the shortcoming of GST.
Okay, you said GST help in the reducing the all the indirect taxes, but many philosophers experimentally said all the indirect tax are present in the form of GST. Then how can you say that GST help in reducing our corruption and the growth of and also helping growth of our Indian economy?
The before GST, the persons have to give 14 types of other taxes before GST. But after the implementation of GST, it becomes only 2 types. So it's help the people to understand it. Because before the GST, the persons have to face many problems. Because they don't know what are the types of taxes. They just go to the counter and ask for the money. They don't know anything about the taxes. But after the introduction of GST, it becomes easier for the people to understand it. So I know that GST led by the government as CGST for the central and SGST for the state. But these are the fantasy terms given to the older taxes. But it will help the people to understand the taxes betterly and conveniently. So GST is good.
By the help of GST, they all the consumer calculate their taxation and how much amount they given for as a tax.
Okay, and they will become convenient.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
What are the goods which is not taken under GST?
The goods, first the petroleum, because before if the government put GST on the petroleum, then it will become more costlier because in petroleum there is another taxes, so petroleum doesn't come under the GST. In some of the raw materials, GST didn't cover.
How can you say GST open and market is developed?
Okay, the answer might be like that before GST, the indirect taxes were there, and the indirect taxes were charged at every point of sale. That means whenever the seller will sell the product in the market, they will take the tax. But after the introduction of GST, this wouldn't happen, and GST would not be charged at every point of sale. So in this way, the market would develop.